X, Y, Z. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and you may be wondering what that noise is. That's the dogs having to make themselves always known. But you're watching Ash on Comics. Today's comic is Legion of Superheroes, fabulous first issue. You may be wondering why I started off XYZ instead of 321, because nothing matters, as evidenced by this book. Brian Michael Bendis is everything wrong, I think. Not everything. Most things wrong in comics today. Nothing matters in his world of comic books. Nothing matters in this book. Here we see the adventures of the 31st century begins here. No, it doesn't begin here. There's been many Legion of Superhero books before this. But as true to form with Brian Michael Bendis, screw the past. He doesn't pay attention to the past. He doesn't honor the past. As a matter of fact, he outright goes out of his way to disrespect the past. If you are a brand new comic fan, if you are a person who maybe hasn't read anything before, that tends to be his audience. That tends to be the people who don't know anything about comics, don't know anything about the history of these characters, and they're just so enamored by his friends' sitcom dialogue that they just think, oh, it's so adorable. But if you actually have been reading comics for a while, more importantly, if you've been spending your hard-earned money on comics, I talked about this in the past, how I think the large chunk of the modern comic audience doesn't actually pay for comics. They pirate them online and so forth. And so when comics are mediocre, they're not really upset because they didn't spend any money. All they did was lost a little bit of time. And it's easier to be forgiving when something doesn't cost you anything, right? That's why music went down the tubes after Napster. When everyone was just pirating music, it didn't matter if music was mediocre. But when you paid, and back then, man, we were paying like $20 a CD. There was a big mass settlement case. I was actually part of that. We were pissed off that music sucked. Anyway, now comic fans are pissed off that comics suck because we pay for the comics. Anyways, I'm kind of getting into the weeds here. Why did I say XYZ? Nothing matters. Also because, I did a review on just yesterday, in my time, on New Mutants, and I called it Millennials in Space. And it is Millennials in Space. And then I was like, well, if that's a Millennials in Space, what is this? Legion of Superheroes it's Generation Z in space. Look at Far Sector. It's just DC is just going down the tubes. They're becoming DC now. Remember, and I call that because that's what Marvel did back, was it 6 years ago? Marvel Now? I don't even remember how long it was. But it basically sent Marvel into a death spiral. They were not everything they did after Marvel Now, they just could not recover. They just kept doubling down. It got worse and worse, and basically Comicsgate started in 2016-ish, 2017-ish, really caught on fire because of how bad things were getting. And DC was taking ripe advantage of it. Jeff Johns was doing this rebirth, bringing DC back from their horrendous New 52 that fans didn't like. And for the first time in who knows how long, DC actually had the market share over Marvel Comics. DC was the top dog in comics. And then they released this New Age of Heroes, and it was fantastic. And it was basically, first of all, it was two things. Number one is it was new superheroes. For the most part, there was a couple of people that were being kind of rehashed or a little bit tweaked. Like you had Mr. Terrific. They made a team around him called the Terrifics, which I think was a great idea. Those characters were mostly established characters like Plastic Man. But then you were creating some new characters like Sideways, which was a similar analog to Spider-Man, and Damage, which was a analog to the Incredible Hulk, and you had the Immortal Men, which was like an analog to X-Men. And basically, not only was it good for DC to have all these new characters into their kind of stale world, you know, I know DC fans don't like it when I say, you know, the old school heroes of, you know, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, and, you know, the Justice League essentially are kind of old and stale, but they kind of are. When you go 80 years and that's the only real things of note you can really produce and stand by, it's I don't want those characters to go away, but you got to be fresh. Marvel has new things, fresh things. You know, every decade they always have something that stands out. New Age of Heroes was poised. It was a right thing to do. You had the old stuff. And this stuff complemented it. Didn't try to replace it. It complemented it. And on top of that, it basically was them doing Marvel books, because, you know, these were analogs. Like, oh, you don't want to do a good Spider-Man Marvel? Don't worry, we'll do Spider-Man right. We'll do X-Men right. We'll do Hulk right. And you Marvel fans that are all disappointed, come over and buy our books. We know this is not the exact character. They weren't trying to make a clone, but the essence of the book was there. And they had their boot heel on Marvel's throat, and all they had to do was step down. And instead of that, it was Jeff Johns who stepped down after the DC's president stepped down. And then Didio took back over in charge, and he took his boot off of Marvel's throat and murdered the entire New Age of Heroes line, except for Terrifics is still going, amazingly. But everything else just got gutted. And put in the works to take the number one damage dealer, arguably, in hindsight, at Marvel, Brian Michael Bendis, and make some huge deal for him to come over in DC and transform DC into Marvel Now 2.0. And now here we are, fast forward to today, Legion of Superheroes, which turns out to be one of the grand designs that Bendis had from the beginning when he jumped onto Superman and why he wanted to take over everything. Superman was just the launching pad. And it's his springboard, if you will, to redesign and do DC the Bendis way. And DC seems to be all in with their chips on this. I mean, it's not extending just to Legion of Superheroes. We have 5G coming out next year, and they're going to replace Batman. They're going to replace Superman. They're going to replace Wonder Woman, presumably Aquaman. All the main characters will be replaced. And then we just found out, I covered this on my Ash Wednesday show, they're going to let you still read the characters you love at a premium price point of $7.99 an issue. So stupid. You can't make this level of stupid up. Anyways, you didn't come here to have me babble on. You came here to get your Bendis. Your Bendis on. What does that even mean? I don't know. Look at that face. This is going to be the new Green Lantern, by the way. It's not official. It could actually be Teen Lantern, but I'm calling it. It's going to be her. Of course. It's not enough that we already have 2 black Green Lanterns, a Muslim Green Lantern, and a Hispanic Green Lantern. We now need another black Green Lantern because diversity. Oh, we have an Asian Green Lantern, too. 2 Hispanic Green Lanterns, right? I can't even keep track. There's so many Green Lanterns. DC needs to frickin' stop. So we start off in this book. I found them. These idiots are flying a cormorant right through the Bloodhaven sewer system. Oh, Bloodhaven has its own sewer system on planet Gotham. Yeah, oh, so cute. There's a whole planet called Gotham now in the future. Something's going on with that ship. Now they're flying crazy. Alien speak, alien garble, garble, alien speak. That's me doing my alien speak impression, in case you cared. I mean, and then it crashes into a building. Fortunately, no one seems to die. Everything's just nice and quaint and perfect. And then we see the mysterious hero character land on the windshield. Okay, time to alien speak, shoot, blast. I'm making up these sound effects because they're not actually in the comic. It apparently is like a silent movie. The ship crashes. A hero guy is flung away. Ow. Hero. Age of Hero stuff. Everyone step back. There's nothing to be... I think he's going for it, says one of the crowd. I like how he's telling everyone to step back. They're a good, 20, 30 yards away. There's no one around. Anyways. Really? Again? Alien speak, garble, garble, garble. Didn't work the first 5 times either, you whore-ass trash. Aliens. Oh, whore-ass. Wait a second. Wait, these are aliens. These are... Why are you calling aliens trash? That's... Oh my God. This guy must be a Trump supporter. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, there's some device. It's real. And then... Boom! Cuff. Come on, dogs. Come on, really? Child boy, do you know what this is? Yes. Do you know what it can do? It can save a planet. That's one thing it can do. Do you happen to know who I am? I'm guessing Mordrew, the demon gangster that started this mess? Yes. And here's what I can do. Who dares touch? Who dares? Kick to the head. It's always a kick to the head. We dare. Us. Don't do a whole thing, Val. I am the Karate Kid. And you are... He doesn't care. Okay, wait a second. Why is this dude, first of all, taking the trademark Karate Kid that I don't think DC has? And number 2, this dude is obviously Chinese. Look at this hair thing. This is a cultural thing. It's Chinese. Chinese do not have karate. It's just nothing matters. I forget. Bendis doesn't care about research, doesn't care about understanding what the hell he's writing. Okay, because I know you won't let this go. I am Wildfire of the Legion of Superheroes. Thank you. And you are in violation of what? Just put your hands over your head. You are the face of madness. And you are even... What are you? I didn't know he changed shape. I am the face of death. Retreat. Legionnaires, I'm out. Cover me. He can't get his hands on this. Go, we got this. You shall not shame me. Guys, back off. I got this. Wow. Mordrew, you're under arrest. I don't fight children. I eat them. Man, that's dark. Wait, is that true? Starboy, Wildfire, help! And then mysterious hero character comes back and punch. Boom. Sorry. I'm sorry I used my Wildfire on him. Clearly fire was not what was needed. I can see that now. Thanks for coming back, Jonah. Is this the... Don't touch that. Okay, so I always read the beginning of the comics here because I want you to get the tone of how a comic starts. Now, good writers will give you the feel in 1-2 pages max. I had to read a bunch here because nothing really happening of any note that you could make sense of. It was just mysterious character chasing ship still going. There's a canister, recover the canister, lose the canister, confront alien. It's so vastly decompressed because that's one of the massive, the hallmarks of Brian Michael Bendis is to stretch out 6 comics worth of material. Reverse that. Stretch out 1 comic's worth of material over 6 comics. It just goes. Meanwhile, with all that extra page, all those extra pages, he just loves to fill that with his self-impressed, witty banter dialogue that I like to call Friends sitcom speak, or sometimes it's called sitcom speak, or to be more relevant for the kids that weren't born until the turn of the century, the Big Bang Theory, which just kind of copies the same mechanic, and it's just constant quippy with nothing, not really saying anything, not really having any characterization, no plots. It's just situational. Bendis writes purely situational. There's no plot. Now, you may be tricked here as you're seeing this comic. The thing that's in the case is the trident of Aquaman. There's a plot here and there's a MacGuffin. But they already got it. There's no hunting it down. Here it is. And then we cut over to Superboy and we get this, this cutesy little page where she starts off, I am excited for you, for me, for us. I know this is a lot to take in, so just a reminder of my name again. I am Irma Ardeen, Saturn Girl, founding member of the Legion. I can read your thoughts. This is going to be weird. You can read all my... When we arrive, everything is about this is going to feel different. The air is going to feel different. The smell. And with your super senses, I imagine even more so. And you're telling me now? Jon Kent, Superboy from the Age of Heroes, thank you for accepting our invitation to join. You're so formal. I am. You have officially traveled 1,000 plus years into the future. It's my honor to introduce you to New Metropolis. New Metropolis? It's our home. Home of the Legion of Superheroes. Oh, and then this whole page just makes me want to gag when I see this. It's like a triggered response. I'm not actually triggered, but I kind of almost feel like when I see this, because it just reminds me of reality and makes me want to just gag and just what's happened to our society. And then this whole book just goes on into non-stop Bendis speak. Hi, it's great to meet you again, Superboy. I'm Rock Kryn. Oh, hey, it says it right there. That's cool. Oh, that's the Frickman tag. That's tech from when? From before I was born. It just lets everyone know who everyone is. We found it keeps everyone on the same level intellectually. What? No. Which relieves so much social stress, particularly during interplanetary situations. Which is all we are. God, I'm waiting for the Legion of Superhero to have safe spaces that they all go to when they need to. And Superboy just looks like such a doofus. But look at this. First of all, I want to go back to this Frickman tag that apparently Brian Michael Bendis named after someone in his life, because these modern postmodern writers always have to insert themselves into the books. What's wrong with this tag? Okay, so this guy here on the right, this is Cosmic Boy. The tag is behind him. Now, Superboy, having X-ray vision, probably, I guess, doesn't matter. He can see right through him. But look at where we go, and we see Superboy's tag. Yep, it's behind him. But not behind him where like a jersey, where you can see someone, you look on their back and you can see their name. No, if you actually look from behind, it's written backwards. You're meant to see the tag facing them front, except the tag is behind them, so you wouldn't be able to read it. It's stupid. So, is there any editors at DC that looked at this and was like, you morons, you did? Of course not. There's not. There's no one. Bendis does not have to answer to anyone except maybe Didio himself. Maybe Didio. That's still, we don't know. I was really worried about being able to retain all this new information. There's normally like 6 people in an average, let's say, Titan scenario. But with all of you Legion people, Legionnaires, names, powers, planets, alien races. But this is Christmas. We're happy, you're happy. Hey, what's up there? Where? Look. What? Up in the sky. Is it a bird? Wonk, wonk, wonk. Really, Docs? Sorry. He's been here a minute. Sorry. We're just really big fans. Is that glass? Is Metropolis under glass? It's a long story. I actually have an orientation presentation to show you that. Oh my God, are we in a bottle? Okay, Legionnaires, I just got a call from the actual president of the United Planets. Do you know? Oh, okay, never mind. I have a real problem with being in a bottled city, so he is here. It's a thing with my people. Long live Candor. Long live Candor. Long live... Are we in a bottle city? Actually, we're... Bottle City? Hi, Mr. Kent. My name is Road. I'll be right back. This is Metropolis? This is Legion headquarters. Right there in the center of town? The entire city is Legion headquarters. Everything here is Legion headquarters. Everything? There are quite a few of us. Ha. What? The Teen Titans had a building shaped like a T, and I was jealous recently. This is still covered in glass. What happened? It's not glass, John. And then all of a sudden, now they're in space. The transition from here, inside the thing that's not glass, that's not a bottle. Now all of a sudden, they're out of it, looking... Nothing matters. And you can, I don't want to read this whole comic to you. I have a tendency to do that so much, but that's my way of you getting to understand what I see. It's just a bunch of I don't want to say self-absorbed. They don't necessarily feel self-absorbed, but they just feel like insufferable, just clueless, like Generation Z. Like just, and I'm not out there to make a blank. If you are Generation Z and you're listening to this, I'm not out to make a blanket insult, but the stereotype of it, the kids that I deal with that are just only into themselves. They don't have any idea of society or anything beyond them. The world revolves around them. Everything is TikTok and YouTube and Fortnite. And also, the planet's dying, and the planet really did die here. Obviously, we see. They don't explain why, but it was probably Trump. I don't know. So they just more and more Bendis speak. You can see just tons and tons of speak. Look at this 2-page. So Ultra Boy show, they come back to Legion headquarters, and Ultra Boy's there holding the trident, and they talk to him about the trident, and just look at this, just nonstop text, and it's the Bendis speak that I just gave you an example of. There's a line here where it's like, they're talking to Ultra Boy, and it's like, oh, part of the reason I'm here now and not there, and your planet Rimbor is always in some never-ending civil war, right? Now, of course, my alarm is going off in the middle of my review here. Sorry about that. That's part of the reason I live here now. Can I hold it? No. Is it real? That does look like the real one. It is it. Well, I mean, I know Aquaman, like my dad's best friends with, as Superboy name drops. I thought your dad was best friends with the original Batman. Actually, my dad's best friend is my mom. What a shit-eating grin. Well, gross. Ew. Sweet. Yeah, so, original Batman? Where did this come from? Can't say. I overheard my father being... it's that cutesy, just non-stop... you wouldn't even get pauses if you were reading it yourself. I have to pause because I just have to breathe. But when you're reading silently to yourself, it just rambles on. It just goes on and on. Kind of like my videos. Of course, I don't charge you for this. So we get to the end of all this Bendis speak, and one of the characters is like, Wildfire, did you forget to close the teleportal? I want to say no. And then all of a sudden, the bad aliens from somewhere, the Haraz, show up. You took something that belongs to the Haraz, so now you will watch while we burn your world to the ground. Who are these guys? Haraz, worst in the galaxy. We prepared an orientation presentation for you that covered all of this. We have this, Legionnaires. We absolutely do not. Superboy, the son of Superman. He lives here now. We get a voiceover. The United Planet's homeworld. The son of the original Superman from the 20th century is here? Well, there was only the yes, Madam Honor, President. What? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading that wrong. Well, there was only the... Yes, Madam Honor President. The Legion of Superheroes pulled out Superboy from the time stream without asking permission. Yes, Madam Honor President. That breaks the number one rule of the United Planets. Intel log suggests they did it in honor of the United... Stop. No, seriously, why would they do that? And something about a stolen Aquaman trident? It's a complete affront to everything we've... To be continued. Because that's how Bendis does things. Nothing really happens. It's just all stuff that he writes on the toilet. And he just comes up with situation after situation and just writes dialogue. And there's no plot. There's no plot. Superman arrives and everyone gets to just be like, oh, look at how funny and things are. And then at the very end, always at the very end, there's some sort of hook that to trick you into believing that there's some sort of plot. But then in the next book, this is at least how the pattern in the Superman in Action comics went for, what's it, going on 20 issues now each, where then the next issue picks up with random things, and it's almost like, so what'll happen is it'll take this, and then he'll just use that as a springboard to just start creating situations, and then he'll come up with some hook at the end of something, like a villain will show up or whatever, and then the next book will just go on again with random situations, and then boom, some random hook at the end. It's nonsense. If you read Legion of Superheroes Millennium 1 and 2 and still bought this anyway, chances are you probably don't like my video and you think I'm all wrong. Because Legions of Superheroes Millennium was utter trash. This isn't quite as bad because, A, it features the titular characters, Legion of Superheroes, and seems to be about the subject matter. It seems to at least have some coherency, even if it's just sort of that random situational comedy-esque writing without real plot. It's not incoherent. Millennium just didn't even understand what it was. It just was random little vignette storylines that were not really connected, that didn't matter for anything. And art was all over the place. It was just probably one of the worst comics I've read in a long time. And I've read things like King's Heroes in Crisis. So, yeah. Here you go. You got a taste of Legion of Superheroes. Ryan Sook's art is always good. Although him writing a bunch of teen, kind of beta teens that all live like little perfect lives in their future. It just as I don't know, as an adult I look at this and it just makes me ill. Maybe if you're a 20-something or a teenager, you'll look at this and be like, that's cool. And that makes me sad that this is cool. Because I think at 13, I would have looked at this. And I did, actually. When I was 13, I looked at Legion of Superheroes. Because I always thought Legion of Superheroes had a freaking cool name. Things like Justice League, Justice Society, I always thought those names were dorky. But Legion of Superheroes sounded awesome. And then I saw the comics and I was like, oh, what are these characters? Aqualad. Oh my God, sign me out. The characters look dumb. They were dorky. And Bendis has just taken that and just put it into overdrive. Just right here. Some of the characters they've updated the names so they don't sound as dorky as they used to, but that doesn't matter if the character is even worse than they were. So that's my taste. Obviously, you're going to have a different subjective reaction. This guy right here is probably my favorite. He's the guy that I want to have his own solo book one day, hopefully. And then this girl. Look at how cool. Look at how cool those two are. And of course, every single ethnic background you could possibly imagine is represented. So, it's perfect. It's perfect in every way. Hopefully I saved you $3.99. Thank you, DC, for not ripping off fans. At $4.99 for this trash, there's a positive. thank you guys for watching my channel. I really appreciate it. Leave your comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys say. If you have any questions about anything or suggestions about the channel, things to cover, do, whatever, books to read, what you're enjoying reading, whatever, I love to hear it all. So throw it down there. I do read every single comment. Sometimes I don't get to them exactly right away. You can always tell when your comment has been looked at because I'll check it. I don't have time to always address every comment, so please understand if I don't respond. It's not anything personal. I just sometimes it's tough to even get the videos out. So hope you're understanding. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.